All right, everybody, you ready? Buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into something we all think about, like a lot, money. But not just, our own finances. We're tackling the big one, how to raise kids who don't just understand money, but actually rock at managing it.
It's such a critical skill, isn't it? And honestly, one that many of us probably learned the hard way.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm still recovering from some of my early financial learning experiences. But that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive to give you practical strategies to set your kids up for success right from the start.
Absolutely. And luckily, there's a ton of great research and advice out there. We've dug through it all so you don't have to.
Music to my ears. So, where do we even begin? The source material jumps right into a classic allowances. Is that still a thing? Like, do parents still do allowances?
It's definitely still a thing. Though, like most things with parenting, there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Figures. Okay, so walk us through it. What are the different schools of thought on allowances?
Well, some experts are all about linking allowances to chores, emphasizing that whole work equals reward concept.
Yeah,
It's about teaching kids that money is earned, not just given.
makes sense. A little sweat equity never hurt anyone.
Right. But then there's another camp that advocates for providing a base allowance, kind of like a salary, regardless of chores.
Really. So even if they don't master the art of the perfectly folded laundry pile, they still get something.
Exactly. The thinking is that even young kids can start grasping basic money management, spending, saving, even simple budgeting, without necessarily tying it to their chore performance.
Hmm. I can see both sides. So it sounds like it's not so much about if you give an allowance, but how you structure it and what you hope your kids will get out of it.
You got it. And that's where things get really interesting. Because simply handing over a few bucks each week isn't really teaching them much, is it? We need to take it a step further.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Mm.
How do we take this beyond allowance day and turn it into a real learning experience?
Two words: goals and savings. Think about it. What gets kids more fired up than, say, a shiny new toy or the latest video game?
Pretty much nothing, unless you count maybe unlimited screen time.
Exactly. So we harness that excitement. Instead of just lecturing them about the importance of saving, we give them a tangible, exciting goal to work towards.
I love it. So instead of save for a rainy day, it's save for that awesome Lego set you've been eyeing.
Exactly. You're speaking their language. And what's cool is that how kids respond to those goals can change as they get older. A younger child might benefit from a visual tracker, like a chart where they can actually stick stickers or color in squares as their savings grow. But a teenager, they might be more motivated by a long-term savings goal, like a car, or maybe even thinking about contributing to college.
It's like that whole financial literacy thing, right? It's a journey, not a sprint.
100%. And this naturally leads us to another boogie, that often tricky concept of needs versus wants. We all know it, but explaining it to a kid,
Oh,
whoa.
I feel that. I still remember when I was a kid and those sugary cereals with the cartoon mascots on the box, those weren't wants in my mind. Those are essential.
Right. It's like trying to explain to a 6-year-old that no, you don't need the sneakers with the flashing lights, even if they are super cool.
Kids have strong opinions, let me tell you. So how do you navigate that?
Open communication is key. I know, easier said than done, right? But instead of just laying down the law, involve them in the conversation. Give them real life examples. Explain that things like food, a safe place to live, and yes, basic clothing, those are needs. They're what we need to live and be healthy. But those limited edition sneakers or the fancy cereal, those are wants. Things we might enjoy but don't need to survive.
Turning it into a conversation definitely makes it less intimidating for everyone. But once they've kind of got a handle on needs versus wants, how do we introduce the dreaded B word budgeting?
Well, and that's where so many parents freeze up. But the key is to reframe budgeting as something fun, something the whole family does together. Think about it like this. Involve the kids in age-appropriate tasks. Maybe your little one helps pick out a couple of things at the grocery store while staying within a set budget. Or maybe your teenager helps plan a family meal, figuring out how to make all the yummy food while staying within, a reasonable price range.
It's like turning it into a game.
Yeah.
And that makes it way less scary and way more engaging.
You got it. And speaking of things we can do, one of the most powerful teaching tools is often the most overlooked. Simply walking the walk ourselves.
Oh, you're talking about modeling good financial habits, right?
Yeah.
Like that saying, do as I say, not as I do. That just doesn't fly with kids, especially when it comes to money.
They're watching us constantly, even when we think they're not. So if they see us stressed about money all the time, making impulsive purchases, or dodging conversations about finances altogether, well, they're going to pick up on that.
It's true. Actions speak louder than words, as they say.
Exactly. And it's okay to talk about financial challenges with your kids in an age-appropriate way, of course. It teaches them that everyone goes through tough times and that we can face those challenges head on and find solutions together.
It's about normalizing those conversations,
Yeah,
right? Money doesn't have to be this taboo topic.
exactly. And who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two from our kids along the way.
So much truth in that. Okay, so we've covered a ton today. We've talked about allowances, the power of goals, the ever-important needs versus wants conversation, and of course, the B word. It seems like the main takeaway here is that financial literacy isn't about bombarding kids with a bunch of lectures, but rather it's about making it an ongoing, open, and hopefully even fun part of family life.
100%. And remember, you don't need to be a financial whiz to raise financially savvy kids. Start by trying out some of these strategies. Be open to learning along with your kids, and don't be afraid to seek out more resources. There are tons of fantastic books, websites, even apps designed specifically to make financial literacy engaging and accessible for kids of all ages.
Well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. As you navigate these financial waters with your kids, maybe take a moment to reflect on your own financial journey. You never know what you might learn along the way.